Boys and girls, aloha. Thank you for tuning in to my final distance learning PE video of the 2019-2020 school year. Now that means you've made it. Congratulations. I'm very impressed. I know that this has been something challenging for everybody. So let me just tell you what I have in store for you today. No push-ups, no curl-ups, no flutter kicks, no jumping jacks, just a little bit of time for us to chat and for me to share maybe a couple other videos with you. But don't worry, they won't be videos that make you run around or play games or even do yoga. I would like to just take this time for us to have a chance to talk about what's coming up for the summer and the fall and maybe reflect on some of the things that have happened this spring. So, some of you, fifth graders, are moving on. Congratulations, you've been promoted. Fourth graders, I look forward to seeing you next year. And I hear some siblings are watching these as well, so that's great if I've got younger or older students enjoying some of the videos. Now, please stay tuned because I'm going to share some things with you that are very personal and hopefully a little bit entertaining as well, maybe even somewhat motivating. So, I'm going to tell you a little story of something that's happened to me in my life and see if we can kind of relate it to what's going on with all of us with the COVID-19 and all of the school closures and all of the changes in our community right now. After that, you'll hear a message from Mrs. Madrano, and then you're going to watch a video called The Realization, and I'll tell you a little more about that in just a moment. And at the very end, I've got a final message for you. So, like I said, I'm impressed by all of you that have made it through this spring, and I sure hope that we're back to normal schooling in the fall. But I also realize that if we're not, we'll be okay. I'll be okay, you'll be okay, we'll get through it. We've got the summer ahead of us though for now, so let's enjoy that. We'll consider this past spring the end of a chapter, and this summer can be a new chapter in your life. And if that includes lots of exercise and activities, wonderful. If it includes reading lots of books or traveling with your family, that's great too. I really wish all of you a fantastic summer. Now, these obstacles like COVID-19 and these changes to our daily life have affected us all. So I want to tell you about something that affected me, and it actually changed the way I look at things in my life. So, as most of you know, I really enjoy mountain biking. And one of the places that I enjoy riding a lot, not too often though, but I really like it a lot, is Saddleback Mountain, or Santiago Peak. It's the highest point in Orange County. You can see it from most of the schools. And if you look to the east, you see something that's kind of a camel's hump to it, or a saddle back to it. And riding all the way to the top takes you over 5,000 feet. And it's a very hard climb, followed by a very fun descent. There's two ways to go up the mountain, really, from Orange County. One is called Maple Springs. It's a wide fire road that starts at the end of at the end of Silverado Canyon. You can go up it in a Jeep or a 4x4. And the other one that I like to go up is called Harding Truck Trail. It's not for motorized vehicles, but bikes and hikers go up it regularly. So, a few years back, after a lot of rains, I was riding up Harding Truck Trail, and I wanted to ride all the way to the peak. So I worked really hard and rode for a solid couple of hours and made it past the main divide and continued on up to the peak. I got to the peak. I was proud of myself, especially because I noticed that the trail was really rough in some places. And there were a lot of places where it had eroded, and there was some places even where the trail had gotten pretty narrow due to the rains. I decided that when I went back down, I would take Maple Springs instead of Harding Truck Trail. Now remember, that's the one that's wider for the cars. Well, I start my descent, and I ride down the first section that I'd ridden up already, and I get to the second section where I'm now on the fire road, and I hadn't been on it that day. I'm heading down, and here I can really pick up some speed. So I'm moving quickly around these wide sweeping turns that wrap around the mountain. And as I'm going around this one turn, I notice that there's a row of rocks right across the trail. And as I approach them, I do a little bunny hop. We call them baby heads. So these rocks are in my way. I do a little bunny hop over them, no problem. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what clown would have done this? It really could have caused somebody to wipe out. Regardless, as I continue around the turn, I now realize there's sticks laying across the road. And these sticks are placed on top of other rocks. So they've created kind of little barriers. But not too high for me, because I'm planning on descending quickly. So I have to pull a little bigger bunny hop over these. I clear it just fine. And as I hit the ground, I notice ahead there's branches all across the fire road. And now I'm frustrated because whoever these knuckleheads are, they're really messing with my ride. And I was planning a fast descent. And I had all this great rhythm and momentum going, and I have to slow down. And this time, because these branches are so high, I end up having to kind of pick and choose where I'm going to go around them. And I find a spot, and I get between some branches, slide a little bit, I'm okay. And as I get around that, after slowing down significantly, I'm shaking my head, thinking, these knuckleheads, these clowns, whoever this is that's put these barriers and obstacles along this road really have no business doing that. It really messes with a cyclist trying to have a great ride. And as that thought's going through my head, and I'm looking up ahead around the turn, I realize there's no road. That's right, the road just stops. And I slam on my brakes, I slide my bike to the side, and I come to a skidding stop right at the edge of this precipice. Now, it really wasn't that big of a cliff, but if I certainly had gone over it, I would have destroyed my bike and I would have been hurt, although I'm sure I would have survived. Regardless, as I come to that sliding stop, everything starts to make sense. I realize these clowns, these knuckleheads that I mentioned, that had put these barriers and obstacles in my way, were not doing it to ruin my ride. They were trying to protect me. They were trying to protect all the cyclists or anybody that was descending that trail. Anybody that didn't know that the road was washed out ahead of them would have had the sense to slow down and be cautious. And that's when it really hit me that a lot of times in our lives, we're faced with obstacles, with barriers. Sometimes they're there to help guide us, to protect us, to help us make good decisions. Sometimes slowing us down is the best thing for us. So I look at this coronavirus, and it's slowing us down, and it's changing our way of lives quite a bit, as not so much a horrible obstacle or barrier, but something to guide us in the right direction. Now, we've already seen some changes in our environment, in our atmosphere, and maybe this is just what our world needs. Just like on that descent, those barriers were just what I needed to prevent me from hurting myself. So I hope that you can look at all of these changes as something that we can learn from and move forward. Now, along those lines, we're going to watch a video. It's called The Great Realization, and it's written from a point of view of someone in the future, well beyond 2020, where the people are looking back at 2020 in the past as a time that changed the world. So I hope you give some thought to that. Enjoy the video. Also, you'll enjoy a message from Mrs. Medrano, and then some final words from me and a couple of my kids. Don't forget, if you'll subscribe to my channel, we can keep in touch over the summer. If I have any other mountain bike stories to tell you, I will. Or if there's any great adventures or things that we want to post on there for you to enjoy, I'll do that as well. All right. Thanks for your time, kids. Now tune in for the video.
Tell me the one about the virus again, then I'll go to bed.
But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
Please, that one's my favourite. I promise just once more.
Okay, snuggle down, my boy, though I know you know full well. The story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day, and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker, till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below, we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic, because our waste was never capped, until each day when you went fishing you'd pull them out, already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why. It's best to not upset the lobbies, more convenient to die. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we all were hidden, amidst the fear and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their mums. And while the car keys gathered dust, they would look forward to their runs. And with the skies less full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so when we found the cure, and were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we'd left behind. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new, and every simple act of kindness was now given its due.
But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together?
Well, sometimes you've got to get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow, and all the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started, and why hindsight's 2020.
Because if you look at the camera, they know someone's filming it because they can see you.
Exactly. If you look at the camera, they know someone's filming it. Okay, lie back down.
Wait, can I just practice right now?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was just trying to relive the best bits of my day. Cheers.
Hi students, Mrs. Madrano here. I just want to congratulate you on your promotion. I know it's been an unusual year, but we made it, class. I just want to encourage you to work on your PE activities, keep on those push-ups, your flutter kicks, and definitely your running. Enjoy your summer. Go have some fun, get some sunshine. I want to thank you for being part of our PE class. I wish you well. And lastly, class, aloha.
Aloha from the Davenports. Have a good summer.
What they said.